Okay, Candace, I think I have a solution to the problem that you were having that might work a little bit better. And I think it's just about taking the pieces one step at a time and also having a style guide to work with. So, what I've done is created the Thinkific course to have a style guide, the very first thing. And I think what I would do is actually duplicate that course, not duplicate it inside, but just duplicate the tab. And in one of them have the style guide open, and in the other one have the course open to edit. And then you'll notice that I put links in here. What I did is I actually put links to the WP Bakery side of things. So when you click on this, it'll take you to the edit page of that particular page. You can't copy the text without going into the text block. You still can't go into the text here and copy that and paste it because it'll come across really oddly in Thinkific. And the reason for that is in Thinkific, if you don't have the P to open and close, like the paragraph tag to open and close a paragraph, the text comes across really squished together and large. So since Thinkific doesn't talk that way, you want to come to visual and you want to copy it. And then in Thinkific, you actually want to come in and copy just this, and you can look in the back end and make sure that you're within those P's. And I am. And so you can either paste it here or you can come back to the front end, whichever. I'm just going to paste it in the back end. So paste the text within the P's. And you can paste it however you want if you're in the back end, and just make sure those P's stay put. And when I come to the front, it looks great. So the only thing that I would have to do is put myself a little space in. And for the introductions, if you could change this to module, that'd be great. And the topics become lessons. It's just a different language that we'll have to adjust to in Thinkific. Okay, and then if I come back to my lesson, X out of that, don't worry about the video, but if there is a video, if you could just put add video, then I can do that later. And then I'm going to show you, I only put one P in for each of them. So I'm going to go into edit mode on this. I'm just going to copy this as is. And then I'm going to come over here, put a space, come into the back end. And I really just want the plain P and P, just like that. And then I'm just going to paste it in. Come back to the front end, and of course, that's a heading. And then we'll want to come and see where the actual learning objectives are and put a bullet. Okay. All right, so this is a heading, and I need to make it into a level, the first level header. So I'm going to come over to my style guide, and you'll notice that I actually explain why it's a level 2 technically, because level 1 is actually this, as far as the screen reader is concerned. But the very first header that you have will be this one. So I'm going to select it right here. I'm going to go into the back end, and you'll notice since I selected it on the front end, it shows me where it is. I'm not just going to grab the header, I'm also going to grab the line, and I'm going to copy that. Come over here, since it's selected here, it should be selected in my back end, and it is. And you have a choice, you can either keep that and then paste the content into it, or you can just replace it all together and remember the title. So I'm going to paste that in, and then I'm going to come here, I'm going to type in learning objectives. And then I'm going to look at it, see how it turned out. Looks pretty good. Feel good about that. So I'm going to delete this link. And it looks like the only thing I forgot to do was turn that into italics and save. I'm going to right click this, and I'm going to open it in a new tab. And each time I save the course, I'm going to refresh that so that I can take a look at how I did. So I'll come down to the introduction. Okay, so it looks good. The only thing is, and this can be the very last thing you do, we want to remove the margins, and you can apply to all lessons. And what that does is it pulls it into the format that we want it to be in. So there you have it. That's the introduction. I'm going to do one more as an example and then pass it along. All right, so we're going to do tasting basics. So I come down here, I click on the link that's there. You have to do this little thing. I'm going to close out these so I don't get confused mainly. All right, and so for this one, we've got some text, and then we've got to deal with the fun tabs. So this is how we're going to work on the tabs. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to grab the text for this one. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to select that, make sure I'm in my P's, and I am, and I'm going to paste it. So that's step one. Okay, the next step is we need to get our tab material in. So I'm going to come into my tabs, I'll click on that, and I'm really just going to take all of that content, copy it, come here, make sure that I've got some P's set up, and I do, but there's a weird break. So I'm just going to pull them together like that, and I'm going to paste that in. It's obviously not going to come over the way that it should, but I'm going to go to the front end to edit. So I'm here at the front end, I've got my header, which I'll come back and edit in just a second. I'm going to refer back to this just to see how I had it. It's like just italicized, so those look like level 2 headings, or at least in that course, level 2. They're going to be different in this course. We'll come down to noise, extraneous odors. So this is a really good example because we're going to be able to deal with some level 2 headings and some level 3 headings. So I have it how I need it right now. I'm going to come over and I'm going to grab that again by clicking on that. I'm going to grab the level 1 heading, or level 2, I guess technically heading. I don't know why it says that. Anyway, and I'm going to copy that whole thing. I'm going to pull this over. That's already selected. That's the wrong one. I need that selected. Come here. I'm going to just paste that whole thing above it. I'm going to copy the header. I'm going to paste it here. And then I'm going to delete from P to P that header. And I'm going to come back, check my work, looks good. All right, now we want a level 3 header. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to come to the back end so it shows me where it is, and I'm going to select the entire level 3 header. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come over here, select the one I want to change, put that above it, take my level, header, title, paste it in, and then get rid from P to P the way that that looks. Now, I don't have to go back to my guide because I can just copy this, come down to noise and do the same thing. And it moves a lot quicker that way. So I've already got that. I'm going to copy it again. I'm going to come down here, copy my title, get rid of P to P, and then I'm going to check my work and see how it looks. Looks pretty good. And get rid of my thing there. Okay, so that is my very first of the tabs. There's 3 tabs. So I'm going to come in here. This appears to be a video, which is a really good example as well. So I'm going to start by just pulling over the text. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to grab this from the front end. Oh no. Okay. I'm just going to grab that real quick so that I have it in. I'm going to paste it without. Check that there's P to P, and there is, so that's great. So paste it without formatting. I'm going to come back over. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to grab this text. Make sure I'm in a P2P. I am. I'm going to paste. I'll go to the front end to edit that. And I'm going to put a space there and some tabs. This. Okay. All right, now I need to deal with this guy. This is a level 2 header, the very top header, this one. Okay, so I have a choice. I can come in here and I can come up to my level 1 header here and copy that and paste it, or I can go back to my style guide and copy it fresh. However you want to do it is fine with me. Just make sure that you change the title and then delete that. I'm going to check my work, make sure it looks good. Okay, so now we're going to add the add video. I'm going to save it, and I'm actually just going to come over here and grab that. I don't really care what color it is, so you can just add it in however you want. All right, so save my work, come over here, get rid of that, and go to tasting guidelines. And do pretty much the same thing. Make sure that I'm in my P. I might be stuck up there. And so I am. Whoops, I was in the wrong one. All right, so I'm just going to work in the back end here. Once you get used to it, it should be a little easier to do that. We can go ahead and get these where they go, though, at least. Okay. And there you have it. Let me know if you have any questions.